The first edition of the Radio Times, the official organ of the BBC, was printed in 1923, 1 year after the British Broadcasting Company began regular transmissions to listeners in London and its regions.
This is 2LO calling. Tonight you're going to hear the first of a series of dramatic criticisms called News and Views of the Theatre by Mr. Archibald Haddon, the BBC dramatic critic. This is the national programme. Here is the director of programmes who's going to talk to you about the new alternative programmes.
At some time or other during the last 2 months, you must have all heard test transmissions.
From the very beginning, it aimed at being a popular family magazine. New talent, as well as famous and established artists, was commissioned to decorate its pages and covers.
This is the BBC Home Service from the west of England. We present country magazine, The Hampshire Avon.
Wood serves to the left hand. His first service, very fast. We've got to get it back right to the baseline.
The preliminaries are over. And what an ideal afternoon for football. A clear sky, a cool atmosphere, and just a perfect turf.
And he hits him. It's going for 4. This very old, dark brown ball coming down among the oval sparrows for 4.
And in a moment we shall hear the procession going by and hear the clattering of the hooves of the Sovereign's escort in its 4 divisions. The men wearing ordinary...
Toad he went a pleasuring gaily down the road. They put him in prison for 20 years. Poor old Toad.
The BBC cookery expert is now going to talk on cooking for beginners.
Many of you who are experienced cooks have no idea how ignorant quite a lot of us can be.
These early editions of the Radio Times are now collector's pieces. Tonight we're going to look back at just a few of the hundreds of these early drawings in the company of one illustrator, the legendary Eric Fraser. Fraser's unique in Radio Times history. His exceptionally varied work has featured in the magazine for over 50 years.
There is a great variety in the work that I've done over the years. It's gone from designs for postage stamps to 60-foot murals. But the commissions from the Radio Times have been the most consistent over the 55 years that I have drawn for them. My first drawing for the Radio Times appeared in 1926. As far as I remember, my drawings then were quite light-hearted and often about broadcasting itself.
Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I found thee. Oh, I know at last the secret of it all.
All the longing, seeking, striving, waiting, yearning, the burning hopes, the joy, and idle tears that fall.
Good evening, everyone. The preparatory school I went to was near Haywards Heath, about 16 miles.
The Radio Times in its early days was essentially a magazine for entertainment, rather light-hearted. And for quite some time most of my drawings were on the humorous side.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Pepper here on the side of the stage at Eastbourne. Before we start, I should like to tell everyone that this program is going to be very, very difficult. Last year, we had the 3 folderol shows.
Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with another bandwagon containing the old ingredients.
Yeah, that's enough. I'm not old, and I'm not greedy, except very often.
In those days, I had an easy technique of plain line and solid black, which saved an awful lot of time. The speed with which a drawing has to be done really means that if one gets the script or the briefing on a Friday evening, it's necessary to get down straight away to a pencil sketch to get some idea of what one has to do. On Saturday, one's concerned with drawing it out, and on Sunday with finishing it.
Listen, man, I'd like you to do something for me. Find out if and how Taylor benefits by the death of his wife.
What the deuce do you mean?
Well, insurance, a legacy, or something like that. Taylor employed a rather ingenious device to get rid of his wife, but he made a mistake.
Here is Mr. F. Hope Jones, our time expert.
Take out your watch. Put it forward exactly 1 hour with great care.
BBC Productions Director is going to talk to you tonight about some forthcoming radio plays.
First of all, I must apologize for my voice. Since my last talk, I've had the somewhat alarming experience of hearing my own voice on the blatherphone.
Mr. Francis Birrell will now give his usual monthly talk on the cinema.
Film critic of the BBC is particularly exposed to the charges that are brought against critics in general, and sometimes against BBC critics in particular.
Thanks to radio telephony, that reminder can now be given at the appropriate moment. I shall do it by counting out the last 5 seconds of the hour. Are you ready? Pip, 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 pip.
My style varies according to the subject I've been asked to illustrate. For instance, in the case of this particular drawing, Haydn's Creation, it seemed to me to demand a rather abstract treatment. It needed a design which didn't state anything too clearly. If it were a play I was doing, I would treat it in a somewhat more realistic way. In the case of a musical item, then it seems to call for an essentially decorative treatment, because most musical instruments are in themselves decorative.
The program consists of Beethoven's Piano Concerto, number 4 in G, opus 58, Schubert's 6th Symphony, and Mozart's Symphony number 27 in G, K 199, with which the concert opens. It is written in 3 movements: Allegro, Andantino Grazioso, and Presto.
It was some years, in fact, before the BBC gave me a script of a play which demanded a serious treatment.
Round and round, round and round, round and round, the squirrel's cage.
A radio play by Tyrone Guthrie with Richard Williams, Geoffrey Matthews.
Cold, isn't it?
Hmm?
I said it's cold.
Yes. Why don't you put on some more coal?
What are you reading?
Robert Elsmere by Mrs. Humphrey Ward.
That's not a very nice book, is it? I don't know what Mother would have said if she knew you were reading a book like that.
I consider the artist is similar to an actor in that he has a part to play and should make up and act that part.
This is the BBC Home Service. We present Aaron's Field, a morality play for the eve of war by D.G. Brightson. The action takes place on September the 1st.
What I most enjoy drawing is the human form, because it can be manipulated more easily to fit into a composition. I think my favourite subject to illustrate is the Greek classics. They give one the opportunity of using the human form in a decorative, classical way.
This morning, I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler.
This is London. The following official communique has been issued from 10 Downing Street. On September the 1st, His Majesty's ambassador in Berlin was instructed to inform the German government that unless they were prepared to withdraw their forces from Polish territory, His Majesty's government in the United Kingdom would, without hesitation,
During the last few years, I must have read dozens of articles praising the Nazi propaganda service. We've been told over and over again how brilliant, subtle, and dangerous it is. We've been asked to admire its wonderful organization. We've been told that Goebbels is the cleverest of all the Nazis, and not by friends of his, because this little man doesn't appear to have succeeded in making any friends. He is, it seems, a detestable fellow, but possessed of a devilish cunning. Now, all this may be true. I can't say it isn't true, simply because I'm not acquainted with all that Nazi propaganda has accomplished in every part of the world. On the other hand, I do know something.
My bike, stand clear of the gateway, let a fella through, let a fella through.
What are you doing down there? Why can't you walk to your seat like anybody else?
It is my proud privilege to ride to my seat in the stalls on my bike, ringing the bell the while.
When the lights go on again all over the world.
I think there was a change in my outlook on illustration and the style that I used, which occurred about the time of the war. Before the war, I was still doing some humorous drawings. But since then, practically all my work has been of a more serious nature. I think the challenge of having to produce a drawing in a short time does make one draw on hidden reserves of energy. I suppose we all have these hidden reserves which are there to call upon in emergency, and as far as I'm concerned, every commission I receive from the Radio Times is an emergency.
With dull care, the day is set fair, a while is set near to bring us good cheer. In winter time or summertime, or leisure time and pleasure time, the daily times that Big Ben chimes are radio times. For Christmas time, the party time, for dinner time or dancing time, the daily times that Big Ben chimes are radio times. Olden days had different ways, their pleasures then were fewer. Modern days will get my praise, our wireless ways are newer. A stirring time, a whirring time, a record time for father time. The daily times that Big Ben chimes are radio times.
Well, that is over, and I hope you heard it clearly and enjoyed it as much as we did in the studio.